morning. It's been a while. I have been reassessing things. What is useful and what is good and what is true. And if I'm completely frank right now, there's not anything, there's really not anything I want to do except be at home with my kids. Take them to parks. So some things have fallen by the wayside. But I must say, well, there are some things that have piqued my interest. I hesitate to say I'm in some kind of transition, because like some parts are transitioning and some parts are just coming right back to where they should have been or where they were. So I don't know. I wish there was more success in some of this stuff. But I'm not sure it's worth it. I don't see high return on some of this. I don't see like serious scalability on some of this. For a while I had YouTube's ear. I had the algorithm to some extent. And now I do not. And I know generally what it takes to get it back. And I don't really want to. And I'm not complaining. I'm happy for what I've already had. It's just whatever. I just don't care. Yeah, it would be nice, but right now my kids are young. So what is interesting? What is interesting is PC hardware to me, and that's primarily because my son's enjoying Minecraft quite a bit, and my daughter's getting into it, and it would be nice to have another computer that could run Minecraft. Well, there's still the annoyance of Microsoft's, you gotta have an email address to exist. You gotta have a cell phone to exist. I mean, there's also a lot of other stuff going on with Minecraft that people don't agree with or like. Oh, right, so PC hardware. I'm trying to, I want to make stuff my own and all that. And I like saving money. Because I'm selling something, and then with that money, I'm gonna get something else. Start building a PC or work on a PC. I already have. I have a case designed. I have a 3D printed case too that I've been working on. It's really just a mini ATX power supply or motherboard and a full-size power supply for interoperability, of course. It's a treat. So the dimensions are pretty solid. However, technically you could take the entire box and scale it up. All the fittings would still work as long as you scaled it up. You maintain the you don't even have to maintain the complete aspect ratio. As long as you resize all the parts together, they'll all fit. That's how you do it the right way the first time. Yeah, so if I wind up with a slim power supply, I can take that half of the case, like the entire half, and just make it smaller. So my mini tower is doing just fine right now, but I'm looking for something. I have this idea that I'll be doing, like, that'll have it would have to be an ITX or something. ITX and a 1U power supply, and just do something like that where I've got 3 displays and I could just carry it around, you know. That'd be pretty neat. Yeah, carry it to work and use a proper computer at work. Carry it home at the end of the day. I really want to build one of those. But the ITX boards are... I mean, if I had a steel cage for a MATX case, or MATX motherboard, with a 1U power supply on the bottom, I'd be okay with that. I'd be able to make something like that. Well, obviously I can. I'm curious to see how this micro ATX case comes together and how solid it is, because it can be reinforced. I mean, it's made of parts. My bed isn't big enough for 260 millimeter, 26 centimeter by 26 centimeter motherboard. Although it technically have the height. I don't really like going that high, but no, it's 250, isn't it? I think it's 25 centimeters on height for the Ender 3. So, looking at these things, and I'm looking at basically what can get you off the ground, like what can get a working box that is upgradable. And now's a really good time because all the new generation stuff is coming out. So you can get yourself like an AMD, and I'm all AMD, so I don't really do Intel. So get yourself an AMD 450 series motherboard, and you have the option of a 2600, like down from a 2600 that you can buy at $60 used, up to, what is it, it's like the 5690 or 5960 or something like that, like something crazy. You can go really high up. It's something like that would be 6, and it goes up to 30, so like 5 times faster, just on CPU, just for the motherboard, and use the same RAM and other parts. It's, you get something with an NVMe drive. So if you can get yourself a B450 board, preferably with an NVMe drive. Not necessarily, but you know, if you can get that, you can get a cheap chip to get started, and then you can work your way up. Although the difference between a cheap chip and a like one that's 3 years old, or 2 years old, I'm not sure. One that's much faster is like $60. So it's almost not worth it to buy a chip for $60 with the expectation that you'll buy another one for $60 more later, or you're going to buy another one for 150. Oh yeah, so then the goal was to get into a B450 board. And then I started looking at some of the stuff, and I found I was trying to find my exact board and look for inexpensive ones, and I found one that was for parts not working. And it said that he killed the power during a BIOS update. So basically bricked the BIOS. I'm like, brick the BIOS? And you could reprogram those. I could actually, probably with the tools that I have, do an alright job desoldering, and then take the board off, or take the part off and then program it and then put it back. So I started looking into that, and that's actually very easy. There's a lot of people who don't have a lot of experience with it though, and they're using like the little chip contact clips, just like spraying it with WD-40, which I don't know why you would do that. Like a contact cleaner or something, but you could do it with like alcohol. You know, it's weird stuff. But the idea that you can get the board for less than half of what it would normally cost. Is that right? Yeah, less than half of what it would normally cost. Program it and then use it. Like, that's pretty cool. And then I started looking at more board repair, motherboard repair, graphics card repair, because, you know, the graphics card market was crazy to the point that you just couldn't get a graphics card, or that the graphics cards were so expensive it made sense to actually try, pay someone to get it repaired. And there's all kinds of people doing graphics card repairs and all kinds of weird stuff. Voltage injection, which seems very, very dangerous and hazardous to the life of the board. But if the board is, you know, if the board's completely dead and you get a few more years out of it, yeah, sure, why not? I mean, you know, you're gonna have to get a replacement on it later, but you'd probably be better off repairing it and then selling it as refurbished. Because those chips, they don't like, you give them high voltage, you give them, like, it's literally running a short on the board so that you can feel the heat of an object, that whatever component is heating up is the component that the short is on. But you're just burning current through the board. Like, yeah, it's, well, you know, it probably is all draining straight through the short, but that's a lot of current flowing, man. That's surprising. I feel like other things would not be very happy about that. And components generally, when they receive damage of that sort, when they're pushed out of their ranges, their operating ranges, they do, you know, they can just die immediately, but they can also take damage that slowly gets worse over the life of the product. So doing stuff like this probably takes years off the board, which maybe you got years, maybe you're okay with that, but I don't know. The point is to be able to get something, you know, my object is to get things that are going to last, and a board with the BIOS. If nothing else is wrong with the board except that the BIOS needs to be reflashed, then yeah, let's do it. Let's try it out. But if not, you got to do all kinds of crazy stuff, component level replacements and things. There's probably something wrong. It's also more likely that something else is wrong on the board too.